Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a great day. Today's Tuesday, and as you can see, I'm here with my little man, Thomas Niklaus. Now this guy, I am making a conscious effort to give him some focus as I had Charlie come in and then Mishka come in, and he has been patiently waiting, knowing full well that he is a mainstay in my collection, but I definitely want to show him some love. So we dropped our bunny. So real quick before we get started, he is looking super cozy. He's in this bunny romper, the harem style pants that we got from an Instagram sale, and the tag says handmade. I have no idea who made them, and then I also have this long sleeve gray onesie on him underneath, and he's just feeling extra cuddly. And some of you know that I changed his body. He was on a jointed body, which gave him very long and very floppy, very froggy legs. And so while his legs still can be froggy, he is a newborn and folds up as such. He's a very tiny newborn. He doesn't have to be now. So this is even cuter on him than the last time he wore it, which was quite some time ago. And we are excited because he is almost a year old. It's getting close. And one of the things that we've noticed is that he is missing clothes. I never built up his wardrobe too much because I really am specific in the types of clothing that I enjoy on him. A lot of the more neutral colors and classic looks. I don't prefer to put character items, except maybe Tiny Tatty Teddy or Humphrey's Corner. But he's historically is in some very neutral stuff. He's got a couple of items with pops of color, but I'm realizing that there's so many clothing options for Charlie, and part of that is because before I had Brewster and then Charlie, and so each of them were shopped for specifically, so there was this like plethora of girls' clothing. But part of it is also because I have a harder time finding what I would like for him, and I just am I don't want to spend the money to pay for crazy shipping from Europe most of the time. So I found a couple of items for him, so I ordered them for his birthday. Anyway, the reason that we are hopping on here today, no pun intended, is because two different conversations both led me to ponder the same thing, and that is, what else besides doll collecting am I into, and what else besides doll collecting are you into? So I was speaking with one of the ladies that is in the local meetup group, and she asked me that question, what else do you like besides dolls? And so we talked about that a bit, and then also speaking with a friend about channel content and having content just about doll collecting versus other things, more specifically the psychology type stuff that I get to talking about. And then I came across my first video that took me out of the hoop dance video posting, which was short-lived and small, into doll collecting, where I said that the channel was going to be about true crime and zombies and psychopaths and hoop dance and all kinds of different things, all the things that I'm interested in. On a whole, that doesn't work, I don't think, to have content that is a mixed bag. When you're trying to appeal to an audience, not a lot of collectors are going to stay around if I'm on here talking about Ted Bundy and, psychopathic tendencies in the adolescence of this this time. And at the same token, if I talk about dolls, the Ted Bundy fan, well, not fans, but aficionados are not going to stick around, or I'm going to attract a lot of people who are not there to enjoy the dolls, but to create the disruption that we so avoid on our videos here. Anyway, so I thought I'm going to try for 10. I have no idea what I'm going to say next. I'm going to say this video is 10 things that I like besides dolls. I'm also kind of notorious for getting off on my count and skipping numbers or saying them twice, so you will see that reflected in the words on the screen if I do that. I'm going to do my best to count properly. And I'm also listing in no particular order, especially because I have not planned this out. We're going to start with 1. So number 1, things that I like in addition to collecting dolls. Shows about homicide. True crime shows. I do enjoy fictional shows as well, but ones that are realistic or semi-realistic. What I mean by that is Dexter. Sensationalized. CSI. Sensationalized, however, reflective of real things. Okay. But I am a big fan, as a lot of you know, of investigation discovery, and I watch a lot of that and a lot of Dateline and 48 Hours Mystery. There are certain topics that go on those shows that I don't end up being interested in, and I typically skip those. And number 2, in the interest of getting the ones that you already know out of the way, I'm going to say zombies. Zombie shows, different takes on zombies, zombie movies, the different ways that zombies are reflected. So I love The Walking Dead. I also love World War Z. I also love 28 Days. Is that the second one? I also love the old school Night of the Living Dead, Return of the Living Dead, parts 1, 2, 3. I like thinking about the psychology behind zombie stories. You know, how did we start? Let's see. Yeah, so we're going to say that. Zombies. In fact, let me show you something. This one is a defect, but you see? Ooh. Some of you have seen me with my coffee mug. You see the little zombie guy? It's a Walking Dead. It's a pocket watch. All right. So number 3, things that I like in addition to dolls, Stephen King books. And the reason why Stephen King is my favorite, he is the one, you know, living person that's not a humanitarian type person that I would love to spend an afternoon with, that I would consider selling a lot of things to do that for. I feel that he is someone who is so driven by his passion that he cannot do anything else, that the characters speak through him. I feel that he has overcome things that could have taken him down. He has chosen to heal from addiction. He has continued to be successful and to adapt, and okay, so there's that. I also love his stories, and for those of you that don't read Stephen King, you may have a perception that all of his stuff is horror or gore, and in fact, a lot of his stuff is not gory at all. It's hard to even explain, but he's very versatile. He's done fantasy, short stories, sort of apocalyptic type stuff, drama. He's so well-rounded, and I think that my favorite thing about him is his character development. He can write, you know, a 1,000-page book, and he can speak about someone in chapter 3 and not speak about them for 500 pages and then talk about them, and you know who he's talking about, and he just develops this depth and this richness in his characters. And as someone who loves to write and fails to write, it just makes him my hero in that area of my life. So he's phenomenal. So let's see, that's number 3. Number 4, things that I like besides dolls. Sharks. Great white sharks, tiger sharks. I'm sort of a fan of deadly sharks. And in the same way that I study serial killers, it's not because I like things to be killed. I just am drawn to like kind of the biggest, baddest. I don't know. They're in the same category in my mind, actually. But one of my goals in life, my dreams, is to cage dive with a great white shark. And I was planning to do that last year, and then I discovered the dolls. And so, but it's very reasonable. I can go do it. I can go to Mexico for a week and do it, but I can go and spend a day in San Francisco, and I'm going to do that. I love sharks. Oh, goodness. Number 5. Here we go. Number 5, things that I like in addition to dolls. I'm going to say gangster rap. I don't know why. I love Ice Cube, Ice-T, NWA, Tupac. I keep wanting to say Ice-T again just because he's that good. Snoop Dogg. And, well, Redman a little bit, he's kind of crazy. Busta Rhymes. A lot of the old school artists, I'm really into it. I really am. Okay, number 6, things that I like in addition to. I really love, I'm going to say Joseph Campbell, but let me expand. I love things that draw connections or find common threads. Joseph Campbell was like a scholar. He was a guy that studied cultural and, you know, historical and religious history, I guess. And he made a career, or he spent his life sort of publishing those findings. He found a common thread. One of the series he did was the hero myth. The hero myth, I think is what it's called. Anyway, it was like a 6-part series or a 5-part series with Bill Moyers interviewing him. He also has written many books, but he looks at the stories that exist in different cultures all over the world from all different times, and how there's sort of this message that is common, and these images that are strikingly similar that are teaching us or telling us or demonstrating or reflecting the same things throughout history in languages that speak to the people who are telling the stories and to whom the stories are being told. He actually was the inspiration for Star Wars. George Lucas was very interested in his studies, the hero mythology, and he created a modern storytelling outlet through the Star Wars movies, the original 3, using the hero mythology imagery. But I love things that reflect the similarities in the macro and the micro, the big picture and the little picture, fractals and outer space being laid out and organized in the same way as our inner space, things like that. Okay, I love that. I think we're on number 7. Number 7, I love reality television. Let me explain. Yes, I do follow a lot of heavy content, and so I do appreciate watching things that are lighter. But I also really like seeing what other human beings are doing. And I see a lot of our learning and triumph and spiritual journey reflected in things like The Biggest Loser was one. I haven't watched that in several years now, but I watched it for a long time, and watching those transformations and ahas, and even like when someone would be voted off of the show and leave and everybody would fall apart and cry because that person was gone, even though realistically they were going home and they would see them again and they just weren't on the show anymore, but they were out of the game, and so they were off their team and out of their experience, and it felt that they reacted almost like that person was dying. And then it dawned on me, like, is that a reflection of our experience here on earth? You know, to us, somebody's disappearing when they pass away because we're completely immersed and bought into this illusion or this experience or this production of life. But in reality, they're really just sort of like leaving the ranch, and we will see them again outside the ranch because there's so much more going on outside of just this ranch, this play. I really like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. I understand all of the things that people will want to tell me about that show, about the reality not being reality, and I don't care. I also, for some reason, really enjoyed The Jersey Shore, and then The Jersey Shore Family Vacation, and watching how they've grown up and who they've become, and seeing different types of people that are very different from me and they're very different from my circle, but finding my common ground. Because let's face it, if you believe that we're all connected and we're all one family, then that includes everybody. Everybody. From Donald Trump down the line to Snooki, to everyone in between and everyone outside of that list. Number 8, things that I really enjoy. I really enjoy art by Marcel Duchamp. He was a painter and a sculptor and a drawer. I'll see if I can sneak a picture or two of his in. But I was introduced to his work by a guy named Trey Spruance, who plays guitar for Secret Chiefs 3. He used to play guitar for the Mr. Bungle when they were in existence, and he did play guitar on one Faith No More album. It's the one with the red on the cover. The title is escaping me right now. But his art is at there was, I'm assuming there still is, an exhibit of his and also his brother's stuff at the Philadelphia Museum of Modern Art. Anyway, the Art Museum in Philadelphia, which is phenomenal, second in size in the world, only to the Louvre, last that I heard. Something about his work is amazing. One of my favorite pieces is The Mind of the Chess Player, or Chess Player's Mind, I can't remember. I'll see if I can put a picture of that one in here. Number 8, are we on number 8? Things that I really enjoy in addition to dolls. I really enjoy, let's see, motorcycles. My dad is a Harley rider, And I know that, and I was raised to say and believe that Harleys are the best of the best and the only things that are worth riding. Harleys are also very, very expensive. And we're going to say number 9 right now, because when I finally bought I bought a Harley Davidson, but it was a Sportster back when I first got my motorcycle license and I lived in Florida. But then I left my corporate job to go follow Qigong and become an instructor and live the poor and hippie life, which was awesome. I gave my motorcycle back to Harley. But I have a 1982 Honda Nighthawk, which is a super rad bike. There's a lot of, it's an 83. No crud. Anyway, it's one of those two. I'm sure I've put it on the screen here. And he is named Nighthawk, and he is extra, well, there were a lot of really great things about that year with the bike that made it very low maintenance and high performance. It's actually 6-speed motorcycle, so there's an overdrive in it, and it's a really, really cool, great bike, very reliable. But it's also from the 80s. Number 9, things that I really, really love are 80s things. Clothing, icons, movies, sneakers, jackets, music. Love, love, love the 80s. From fingerless gloves to leg warmers to charm necklaces to Adidas high tops, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Some Kind of Wonderful, and Breakfast Club, and Goonies, and love it all. And number 10 of things that I love are a wide variety of movies. I love finding very interesting international independent movies, like Ponette, which is a French movie about a little girl named Ponette whose mom dies, and her dad has to go take care of life and leaves her with her family in the French countryside, and she is left struggling, speaking to Jesus in church, the statues, and herself and the sky, to figure out at the age of 4 how to process that. And Au revoir les enfants, which is about children during World War II, and Stalker, which is a very intense psychological Russian thriller with very little talking, and Time of the Gypsies, which is an incredible movie about Romanian gypsies, this family that actually the same actor played the boy from boyhood through adulthood. It's just one actor, low budget, awesome movie. I also love M. Night Shyamalan movies, and I love Rob Zombie movies, horror movies. We already covered zombie movies. I really also like action movies, good action movies like the Fast and the Furious series, and fantastical movies. I call them like action superheroes. And what is that movie? Any Jason Statham movie. I love old martial arts movies, like Steven Seagal movies, all the great movies from back when I was growing up with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, like obviously Terminator and Total Recall and Commando and Alien, Predator. I love all the Aliens movies and Ghostbusters and all of that. And I love dramatic, heartfelt movies and offbeat movies like I Heart Huckabees and Vanilla Sky, and that Jim Carrey movie, something Mind. Anyway, I definitely enjoy a wide variety of movies. I like good movies. I don't watch a lot of movies these days. but and Star Wars, Star Trek movies, based on true story movies. One movie that I watched recently that really comes to mind that I loved was The Disaster Artist, directed and starred in by James Franco, playing Mr. Tommy Wiseau, who was the writer, director, producer, and star of The Room, which is the greatest worst movie of all time. It came out around 1990 or early 90s, still plays, become a cult classic. And I also watched The Room right after watching that and loved that movie too. So I appreciate a lot of different kinds of stuff, and I always try to appreciate things for what they are. Anyway, yeah, so if you feel so inclined to share a little bit more, as you can see, I talked about things with meaning and things that are fluff, things that, you know, I didn't touch on causes and things like that, but those are certainly included. I just was winging it from off the top of my head. Just 10 random things here at Raendom Reborns that I enjoy besides the dolls. If you feel inclined to participate, please feel free to make a video or leave comments down below. I would love to hear from you guys. Thank you for coming by and spending some time with us. If you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button so that you can come back and continue if you liked it. If you didn't like it, please feel free to not subscribe. I won't take it personally. But anyway, great to steal a few moments to chat with you guys. I look forward to talking with you all soon. Have a good day. Bye.